Regular viewers of my channel will know that the villains of Batman the Animated Series are my bread and butter. I make essays looking at the history and psychology of these poor, twisted miscreants. But today I want to do something a little bit different and open the floor to my wife Mary, the co-host of our podcast Totally Schway, to share some of her thoughts about a Batman villain that speaks to her. She's going to talk about Baby Doll. Over to you, Mary.
Mary Doll, aka Baby Doll, is a fictional actress that made her first appearance in the Batman the Animated Series episode, Baby Doll. She was born with the genetic disorder systemic hypoplasia, which in the world of BTAS gives her a childlike appearance regardless of her age. When we meet her in Baby Doll, she's actually in her 30s. The character of Baby Doll is very interesting because she's not your average villain. In a way, Doll has regressed back into a child that feels abandoned and tries to go back to a better time. Her childlike appearance and speech set her apart from villains like the Joker and Catwoman. Although at times the Joker does childish things, like throws tantrums and plays with toys, he doesn't play the part of a child the way Doll does. Doll presents herself as a child speaking in childish ways and dressing like a little girl. She takes innocent childhood objects, like her doll, and familiars, such as her henchmen that resemble the Captain and Gilligan from Gilligan's Island, and weaponizes them. Doll was the star of a popular sitcom, Love That Baby, where she played the adorable infant Baby Doll. Eventually, Doll would leave the show, citing creative differences, and set out on her own, with disastrous results. When she takes her former TV family hostage, she is doing it as a cry for help because she has suffered a mental breakdown, not because she's evil. Her life has not gone the way she had wanted it to, and she tries to recreate a happier time in her life when she was successful and adored. When Doll quit working on Love That Baby to become a serious dramatic actress, she picked a role that was entirely the opposite of Baby Doll, Lady Macbeth. Lady Macbeth is a callous Shakespearean figure that compelled her husband to murder the King of Scotland and take his crown. However, she cannot take the guilt, and it is implied that she ends her own life, which foreshadows Baby Doll's scheme later on. Another thing that sets her apart is the way that some fans perceive this character that looks and sounds like a child. While I was looking for a reference photo for my notes on this video, I found some not safe for work fan fiction that made me uncomfortable. It made me uncomfortable because they saw this character as a child rather than a character that was an adult who just resembled a child. There's also a minority of people that take Baby Doll and put her in adult situations and say that it's okay because she's an adult that only looks like a child. But this is repulsive and not something the character would appreciate. There's something fundamentally wrong with an adult showing this type of behavior. I'm not a psychologist, but even I can see the depravity in this. She would have wanted the audience to validate her for who she was, not bring her more pain by treating her like an object. It defeats the purpose. In my opinion, Doll would have wanted to be seen as a person, not something people can objectify. I think we can all agree that the main thing Doll needed was a great psychologist, one that could help her with her mental health and guide her to a life that was filled with meaning. But just like in the real world, her issues were ignored by everyone. Once her fame settled down, so did the care and concern from the audience. Doll could have easily gone to a country where Lolita culture was popular and made a very nice living, but that's not what she wanted to do. She wanted to be a serious actress that made an impact because of her talent, not her hypoplasia. I love how the only time you see Doll playing a character her age is in the clip of her performing as Lady Macbeth. The rejection from this caused her regression back to a child. You can see this regression when she starts using the catchphrases in her real life. I find the way Batman handled Doll touching. He treats her as if she's a lost child and has a more gentle approach. If only everyone would have treated her this way. Baby doll reminds me of a lot of people I've come across in my life. Instead of getting the help they desperately need, they wind up in the criminal system. It's really quite sad that a lot of us can say we know of someone who has ended up in the criminal system when they really needed to be under the supervision of a doctor. I'm not saying all criminals would be reformed because of treatment. I'm saying some people could be prevented from continuing criminal behavior with the correct treatment. With all of that being said, I want to end this video on a more positive note by telling you what I liked about this episode. Batman. Of course the thing I love most about this is Batman. How could it not be? A crime-fighting vigilante who knows that instead of kicking and punching Baby Doll, he allows her to express her feelings before calmly disarming her, placing his hand on her shoulder and leading her away. Thank you so much for watching. It's been a pleasure to do this little mini essay. It's not long, but I think I got my thoughts across. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and all of the other YouTube stuff. And if you want to hear more, don't forget, Luke and I have a really cool Totally Schway podcast every other Sunday. Have a really good day and comment something.